Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the A-Side. I am your host, Riley, and today I'm reviewing a pretty special album because a friend of the show, Modern Amusement, has returned with their second album, Boys Who Cry. The small Minnesota band consisting of the real Sam Black and the fictional comic book character Marco, along with guitar from Sam Kirchner and drums and production from Dan Konopka of OK Go, prove that they aren't victims to the sophomore slump, as Boys Who Cry stands up to their self-titled debut that made my album of the year list last year. While carrying much more of the influence, while still carrying a lot of that influence from bands like Weezer and Motion City Soundtrack, Modern Amusement on this record I feel like makes something much darker. Sam describes the records as living with depression and social anxiety and trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. You can definitely hear it in the music. The guitars are a little heavier, the lyrics are a little tinged a little darker, and the melodies reflect it too. This can even be seen in song titles with tracks like Vampire Kiss, Bedbug Sadist Side, They're Out to Get Me, Sour Patch Kid, and the Edgar Allan Poe referencing Under the Floorboards. Boys Who Cry is almost the band's own Pinkerton of sorts. The Pinkerton comparison is even more pronounced by the synth work on this record. I adore this analog synth sound that is used throughout the modern Amusement discography, and Boys Who Cry really is no exception. I think Vampire Kiss is some of the best examples of these synths. They have such an interesting sound as they pulsate in the intro and dance around the guitars. They return on the chorus to add a neat texture, giving me flashbacks to Hot Fuss. They help create this nighttime aesthetic with a dark intensity. Lyrically, this song damns someone who's been an overwhelming force of bad in Sam's life. I especially love the complete rejection of this person on the pre-chorus with the lyrics, "Get out of my head, get out of my bed, put away the knife, get out of my life." I adore the melody on "What a vampire kiss mean, there's no turning back." A Vampire Kiss is just an incredibly well put together song between the synths and the vocal melodies. It's my favorite on the record. Another favorite of mine is Harlequin. It's got the cool synths like on Vampire Kiss, but it also has some really pronounced falsetto harmonies I find to be very pretty. The song almost feels like it was made for me. And I also really love the descending vocals on Living Out on Our Days in Harmony. Sour Patch Kid was the lead single, and it was indicative of the darker themes of the record. It tackles the isolation that comes with extreme crushing anxiety, saying, "I don't want to be anyone today. Who the fuck is Samuel anyway?" I think that's a particularly witty line I'm a fan of. And I mean, I've been there before. Although, watch horror movies and blast Pinkerton sounds like a really good date, and I'll keep that in mind. Although, I failed to consider I pull no hose. So, And this album also shows that Modern Amusement has quite the range. This album is very varied in different sounds and ideas. Alone With You feels very punky. Vocal melodies in the verse remind me of early Ramones, along with a simple yet driving guitar line. I appreciate the biting lyrics. All Alone With You makes me want to hurt myself. All Alone With You, I think I'd rather spend a night in hell, has this great kind of dark humor and wit to it that I always enjoy from an alt-rock outfit such as Modern Amusement. Bedbug Sadist Side busts out the acoustic guitar with some very bouncy riffs and excellent drum work. The word that comes to mind when I listen to Bedbugs is ditty for some reason, but it's a nice little ditty, and I think it adds some indie street cred to this Weezer worship kind of emo power pop band. They're Out to Get Me is like a strangely theatrical song. It's a really big curveball that I wasn't expecting, but it's not a bad thing. I think it's a cool aesthetic, and it really fits the song's storytelling aspects that I think are kind of front and center on this one. Below the Floorboards has some really pretty piano work and glockenspiel that gives this song like a beam of light shining through. To me, the song tackles disillusion with the people around you, kind of a taking off the rose-colored glasses in the way, passing glance of the life we had. Our life looks so much better in the photographs. It's not only a beautiful lyric, but a beautiful way of demonstrating this message of kind of looking back without those rose-colored glasses now and kind of seeing that everything around you isn't quite as it is and things aren't quite as perfect, that you're starting to become disillusioned. And this theme is perfect for the opening of an album that will be taking on darker tones than the previous record, kind of starting off with this, I found was lurking beneath my floorboards. I found that kind of beating heart that's been driving me crazy. And now I've kind of taken off the rose-colored glasses and have become disillusioned with the world around me and kind of become not consumed with this depression and anxiety. Kind of announcing that and then going into a darker record is an interesting way to go. Friends who are just pretend, fairy god girlfriends that are useless in the end. All I want to do is get laid. As a lyric that resonates with me deeply as I look out on my social life in college, I feel like the culture, everyone is so fake. A lot of people don't have real friends, just people they like to go get fucked up with on the weekend. And you can forget about a relationship. And for someone like me, who kind of falls outside of that party and hookup culture, these lyrics really spoke to me. Whether that was necessarily what he was going for or not, that's how I interpreted it, and that's how it settled with me. I know I'm a blast. It's Thursday. People are out partying tonight. I'm talking about. This is the third video I've recorded tonight. The other one was about AJR. So, obviously I kind of fall outside of that culture, and that outside looking in, I can relate to some of the ideas here on the song, whether that was necessarily what he was going for or not. Modern Amusement applied the black makeup and stepped into the abyss on what's probably their darkest song yet, entitled Scary Stories. The bass line helps create such a menacing feel, and the scream was something that shocked me on first listen, but I think it really works, especially as it gives way to the sick guitar solo. The closer, Walk On, serves as the light at the end of the tunnel that Sam described on this record. While ending a darker album with a note of optimism has been done many times before, it's an effective tool, and Walk On is no exception. After a record of heartbreak, depression, anxiety, isolation, and disillusionment, a lyric like "Life may not get better, but it's all we got" carries a lot of weight to it. Modern Amusement is a small band, but I think Sam deserves his flowers. His Boys Who Cry is an excellent sophomore outing. If you don't check this out, you're doing yourself a disservice, especially if you're a fan of like power pop and emo like Weezer or Motion City Soundtrack. I'm feeling a 9 out of 10 on this record. I really liked it. Anyway, go and listen to this. Small band, just started a few years ago now, but I've been following them since the beginning, and he's done some excellent work. Yeah, I mean, I Want You Tonight, the very first song I heard, is excellent. The Beautiful Infection EP, made my 2020. Honorable mentions didn't quite make the list that year, but the self-titled record did, and this will undoubtedly make it very high on my 2022 end of the year list, so go check this out. And, yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.